is one of my sketchbooks that I made a few years ago now. It's got a piece on the front that's made up of little things I found in magazines that I felt were quite textural, a little bit autumnal, and I just stitched them onto the front. Actually, I stitched them onto a piece of sketchbook paper, stitched around all the little holes, and then I glued it on the front of this. This is a ring binder kind of sketchbook. You know, they're quite common out there, and it's very easy to cut your pages out to use. It makes painting them and printing on them much easier. So inside, this is my first page. This is just basically on a theme of seedhead. So what you can do is you can cut out each of these pages. You just simply do a bit of snipping. You use a pair of scissors and you just snip like that, and then you can take the pages out, which is great because that means you can then paint on them, you can print on them. It makes it much nicer to be drawing into or sticking into. You can work into them in any way that you want to, but it means you haven't got a blank page, because a blank white scary page is really off-putting, I think, in doing this sort of thing. So they're very easy to pop back in, and if you don't like the order that you've got them in, you can spend a really nice happy afternoon and just rearrange them. You can take them out of here and put it at the front. You know, this is your sketchbook. You can do what you like in it. I haven't actually done anything fancy with this bit yet. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. I think I just printed onto it. I quite like the simplicity of that. So this is a seed head that I've drawn using soluble crayons. And you can see it's got a soft edge to it going all the way around outside, because what you do is you draw with these lovely pencils and crayons, and I think that was a pencil actually, and then you just add water, and that really softens the image that you get. So this was a little poem that I wrote about seed heads, about the cow parsley and the hogweeds, and that was a little drawing that I did. It says shaded, shades. Oh, shadow drawing of seed heads on a wet February afternoon. There you go. That's quite nice, isn't it? Very soft. This one, I scrunched up the paper and I printed on the paper. I think possibly I don't know which order I did that in now, but isn't it lovely? It's got a really lovely textural surface to it. And then I've stitched into that, and I think I've done a bit of painting on top of that again as well, because you can't see all the stitching, but you can see it better on the other side. So quite a simple little shape, and you know, do that with your free machine embroidery. And the whole point of this is it's a process. It's a process of feeling your way into something. It gives you a feeling for the seed heads. It gives you perhaps some ideas of how you might take this forward, how you might put it into fabric, how you might stay. You might just choose to stay with paper and do stitching on paper. And it's just a way of just processing ideas, words. This has got a little print. I think what I've done is I've painted that, and then I've printed it onto this paper here, and that's got a piece of lace that I've printed on. So quite subtle. This is quite a subtle book. It's one of my sort of calmer books that I think I've made. Again, I think this is a piece of stitching that I've done onto again a pre-prepared piece. I think I've pre-crumpled it. You can see how crumpled the pages are, and then I've painted over this, and I've actually just put that on there and printed it, so you get this really nice soft image over that side. And I've done the same thing over here. I've obviously been messing about with paper and paint and printing and using the stitched lines. It's really effective because that's a raised bit. So what else have we got? Oh, this is where I've actually glued. This is willow herb seed head type thing, where it all goes like this, sort of all squirrely-whirly. So you can draw that. You could just take a pencil and just draw that. But I've stuck it in here. I've put some tissue paper on top. I've painted it over the top. And then again, I think I must have printed it a bit over that side. These are just where I've been playing around with some wax and some paint, some crayons, looking at the shapes, playing quite fluid drawing lines. just messing about here with some painted lace, and again I think I've been using the seed heads themselves, painted them and printed them. One of my favourite things I have to say as a background is newspaper, because you get all these lovely words just shining through. So that's been painted and then printed onto this top side. Has got a bit of mountain, and for some reason, best known to myself, I've done a little mountain shape there that flops up and down. There doesn't have to be a reason for what you do, okay? This is just playing around. If you look at children when they're playing, when they're making things, you know, all they do is just play. They're not saying, oh, why have I got to do this, or why should I not do this? Now this bit, I'm going to take this out because I think this bit comes first. This has got some organza, it's got a printed page. I've done some little leaf prints from something here, with a little leaf thing there. That's actually glued in, I think I can feel that. In fact, they're glued in. They're obviously things I've picked up and glued them in, stitched on top, and then I've done a print. So you can see this is very, very bad stitching. Obviously, this has got the tension's all wrong on this side. I've possibly just got that really badly done, but do you know what? It's made lovely soft lines across there, and then I've printed them onto this page over here. So I'll put that one in there actually, because it makes more sense to have that there, I think. So again, a little bit of drawing. I've typed out the, or I've printed out the words. This is what I showed you just before. So that's the words in my poem. Bit of tissue paper that's been painted over and then stitched. I've stitched onto here, onto this drawing, and then this drawing. Oh, it says it's been done with my left hand. So if you use your non-dominant hand to draw, you get really fun shapes. It's much looser and freer, and that's the stitching on the other side, which I really do like. And this is just using seed heads to make patterns, as you know, using the seed head like a stick almost, just to do pattern making. Various little printing, bits and bobs, dried flower head. Some of these are not very exciting, I have to say, but you know, they've been part of my process, so you know, I could come back to that and use that. What I do like on it are the little holes down the side. That's where you paint this page, take that off, and then you print using that, and you get these lovely little edge bits, which I think are really lovely. This is painted lace, and I know that this went in towards making a picture that I then sold, where I painted lace and I put my poem on. This is where I've printed off the seed heads again. That's the stitching on the back of that one. Again, really, really nice. You get these lovely, you get all the holes coming through where the needle pokes through. This is where I've glued seed heads down again under tissue paper and painted over them. That's got some shiny paint on. This is another version of the poem with a stitched seed head. Taking it out right across the page, so you're looking at the scale of it. You're not just putting it in the little corner over here. You're actually taking it right across the page. And I love this one because it's got something on the other side, which is not terribly exciting. Okay, I don't like that side at all, but I love this side. That side's really nice. So just bits and bobs. This is a pre-printed page. It hasn't got anything on it yet. It's waiting for something, so I can always add something into that. You can see I've just been messing around with the paint. It's really quite fun, printing and painting. This has got strips of torn paper, if you can see that, and then I've stitched into that. It's almost like bark, or it could be, you know, really giant stalks of seed heads. You could go, you know, up and up and up. And again, I love the other side of that. If you can feel that, I don't know if you can see it very well, but they've got lovely lines of stitching going up there, and that just feels and looks gorgeous. Really nice. And then what I've done is I've painted that and I've printed it onto here. So you get all these little tiny bits of the stitching showing up on here. So this has got some, now this is segued into some seashells, so we won't go into that bit. That's the bit where I just went a bit sideways with that one. And it became some other things. But that's just to give you a flavour of what you can do when you're working on a theme. You get your sketchbook out, you play around with your pages, and then you can start doing some drawing into it. Okay, so, and the other thing I thought I'd just show you, which I suddenly went and found, in between moving the camera around, I thought, oh, I know what I've got. This is a lovely little book. I love making little books, and I love making little books with things that you tie around like that. I think they'll just make it so exciting. So this is a concertina book. If I stand it up, you'll be able to see it goes like this. So it's actually quite simple. It's made from individual pages, and it's been reinforced and backed, and I've done lots of stitching into it. I've been very rough with my fabrics, and I've just torn everything, and it's got a very soft, gentle look to it. It's got lots of layers of fabric going on. That's got some words written all over it. I think that was my poem again. This has got a desiccated leaf that I've put in underneath layers of lacy fabrics, and some scrim, some painting, some stitching, some words. So I just was really looking at interpreting the seed heads and putting them into this little book like this, the different layers of fabric, the word hogweed. Here's some sycamore seeds, which I've cut out of a nice beige sort of linen, a little bit of lace there stitched on for extra detail, some stitching across underneath this, which I think may have, oh, I know what I did, I stitched some soluble paper on top of that one, so which gives it a lovely effect. That's some dandelion seed heads. I don't know if you can see that very well because they're quite subtle. Just looking at the stitching, making it go into a dandelion shape. Little bits of fabric stitched across the base again, and stitching around and stitching across. So just playing around. It's all about playing. I don't necessarily plan these. I maybe just sit down with each page. The nice thing is about a book like this is you can just do it a page at a time, and then you can put them together, and however long your book becomes is however many pages you get around to doing. So it's just some simple honesty shapes and a little bit of fabric there in the background just to give it a bit of an edge. And it's got my name on the back just in case you're in doubt as to who made it. So that's something nice that would be another project, I think, as well. There's so many things in my studio that I could show you, honestly. It's just I have to keep focused and think, you know, what are we really going to be doing here? So I think we'll call that a day for this introduction to the idea of looking at seed heads, and I will just see what's going to happen next. See whether we do some drawing, whether we do some printing, and maybe some printing and some stitching. Let's just wait and see what shows up. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you again soon. Bye for now.